In 1806, a man loaded a ship with blocks of frozen water and pointed it toward the tropics. The entire city of Boston laughed at him. When his vessel left the harbor bound for the Caribbean, the local newspaper printed a joke at his expense. "A ship," it wrote, "has left this port with a cargo of ice. We hope this will not prove a slippery speculation." They had reason to laugh. No shipping company in Boston would even carry the cargo. The sailors believed the melting ice would flood the hold and sink them, so the man had been forced to buy his own ship just to move it. And when the ice arrived in the islands, the people who had never seen frozen water in their lives did not know what to do with it. It melted in front of them. He sold what he could and lost money. He tried again. He lost more. Within a few years, he was bankrupt and sitting in a debtor's prison. He was, by every measure, a fool with a ship full of melting water. His name was Frederic Tudor, and within 30 years, this fool would be one of the richest men in America, because behind the joke was an idea that nobody else had been willing to see. In the north, every winter, the lakes and ponds froze solid. The ice was worthless. Nobody paid for it. It sat there until spring, and then it was gone. But in the south, in the Caribbean, in the hot ports of the American coast, and far across the ocean in India, there were millions of people who had never in their lives touched anything cold. No cold water, no cold drink, no way to keep meat or milk from spoiling in the heat. To them, ice was not worthless. To them, ice did not exist. Tudor had seen the gap that everyone else had laughed at. Take the thing that costs nothing in the north, carry it to the place where it cannot exist, and sell it there. The idea was not insane. It was simply early. His failures had not been failures of demand. Everywhere the ice arrived, people were amazed by it. He was failing for two reasons only. The ice did not survive the journey, and once it did, nobody knew how to keep it. So he stopped trying to sell ice and started trying to solve those two problems instead. The journey came first. He experimented with everything: hay, straw, wood shavings, until he found that sawdust, the waste thrown out by the lumber mills and free for the taking, was a near-perfect insulator. He stacked the blocks tightly, like bricks in a wall, so they protected each other. With sawdust packed around them, the loss on a 3-week voyage dropped to barely a tenth of the cargo. The leak was sealed. Then the storage. In every port, he built thick, double-walled ice houses, and he taught the merchants and the households how to keep the cold from escaping. He gave bartenders chilled drinks to hand out, so that people who had lived their whole lives in heat would taste cold once, because he had learned that one taste was all it took. After that, they could not go back. And it worked. Ice stopped being a curiosity and became something people could not imagine living without. Cold drinks, fresh food that lasted, ice cream in places that had never dreamed of it. What had been a luxury became, within a few years, a daily necessity. The free thing from the frozen north was now flowing out of Boston to the entire warm world. Then Tudor made the boldest bet of his life. If ice could reach the Caribbean, why not India? Calcutta was 16,000 miles away. The voyage took 4 months, crossing the equator twice, through some of the hottest water on Earth. He loaded 180 tons of ice and sent it across the world. When the ship reached India, more than half had melted. But 100 tons remained, 100 tons of New England winter delivered to the heat of Bengal. The people of Calcutta, who had never seen ice, were so astonished that they tasted their first cold drinks and their first ice cream from a pond on the other side of the planet. For the next 20 years, India was the most profitable route he had. From that single trade, Tudor earned a fortune. By now, the scale of it had become almost unreal. The writer, Henry David Thoreau, watched Tudor's men cutting ice from Walden Pond and wrote that the sweltering people of Charleston and New Orleans, of Madras and Bombay and Calcutta, were drinking from his well. In the years before the American Civil War, ships carried more tons of ice out of America than any cargo on Earth except cotton. A man had taken frozen water, the cheapest, most worthless thing in the North, and turned it into one of the largest trades in the world. When Frederic Tudor died, his fortune was worth what would today be around $200 million. But this is gold and ruin. And the thing about an empire built on a free gift of nature is that it lasts only as long as nature is the only one who can give it. While Tudor was shipping frozen ponds across oceans, other men were working on a different idea, a machine that could make ice, anywhere, in any climate, in any season, without a frozen lake, without a 4-month voyage, without a single block melting at sea. When that machine arrived, the entire logic of Tudor's empire collapsed. Why wait months for ice from Boston when a factory down the road could freeze water on demand? The ponds of New England fell silent. The great ice houses emptied. The ships that had carried winter to the tropics found there was nothing left to carry. The whole trade, the ships, the fortunes, the global flow of frozen water, vanished within a generation. Today, you make Frederic Tudor's miracle without a thought, a dozen cubes at a time, from a tray in your kitchen. He grew rich selling something the world believed was worthless. And in the end, the world was proven right, but only after he had become a king.